Mark, what's going on?
Checking out this intense showdown
Yeah,
between Batman and the Black Mask.
we are almost at the end of the first story arc of Absolute Batman.
The
So
Zoo.
exactly, the zoo. We're going to talk about issue number 5, and we're going to do that right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. Hit that like button. It's that little thumbs up just below there, just right there, right down there. And leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. How are you liking the Absolute Universe? It's almost 6 months old now, so it's almost half a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, do all those things. But we are basically, again, we are about one issue short of the Absolute Batman first story arc. And interestingly enough, when the first story arc ends, that's when we'll get our 3 new titles as well. So yeah, looking forward to March is going to be huge, March and April. So we're going to have all sorts of
April's going
absolute
to be
stuff
busy for sure.
to talk about. But after a little bit of a interlude, for lack of a better term, last issue, we are basically now back into the. I would say we're back into present time with Absolute Batman, but we still flash back a lot to how everything went down with his father at the zoo and in the bat cage.
Yeah, we even start this issue
Yeah.
off with a flashback of Bruce and his mom at the doctor right after the tragic events of the zoo, where they're tending to his wounds from hiding out in the room where the bats were and making sure he doesn't have rabies and stuff like that, and kind of trying to be lighthearted and joke with him like, you should be fine, but if you grow fangs, come back and see me,
Right.
kind of thing. And he's just sad, shocked, I assume, and still in like trauma.
Yeah, we see our first appearance of Dr. Leslie Tompkins, who, if you know from the main universe, is the person who, at least in his early years anyway, was the person that was constantly stitching him back up.
And one of the few people that know his true identity.
Correct. Then we get a big double-page spread right after that first thing of the zoo. So let me go ahead and do
Yeah, of
that.
him and his mom graveside.
Right.
So it's just kind of advancing the origin little by little through the story.
Right. Then we flash back forward to present time, and we see basically we see Batman hot on the tail of the Black Mask gang.
Yeah, isn't he just kind of he's just driving through the streets. He's driving past gang members, having to resist the urge to shut him down, to stop him. He's passing criminal after criminal, committing crime after crime. And we get the little narration from Alfred, like kind of like, keep going, don't stop, keep moving. Because at this point in the story, we know that he has taken the deal that Black Mass has offered him. I'll give you a bunch of money, leave us alone. So we get to see him driving on his Bat motorcycle super fast and resisting the urge to bust some skulls. We're assuming he has taken the money, he's leaving them alone.
Yes, and we'll see what he does with that money in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we flash to James Gordon, who's running for mayor, and
Not going so well.
Yeah, exactly. Not going well at all. He's basically talking to I believe it is his campaign manager, who is basically talking him through, and they're talking about all the they're talking about Gotham City in general, about how
Bruce's mom.
Oh, you're right. That is Martha. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
They clearly have, like, at this point, we don't know if it's like some kind of romantic relationship, but they clearly have a long-standing relationship. Very
He
close.
arrested her
He doesn't
one
even
time.
call her Martha. He just calls her Mar, and she was working on the campaign. It's not looking good for him at this point. Bullock has pulled ahead and stuff.
Right, and they talk about when they first met, where he basically arrested her, and broke her sign that she had because she was protesting.
And it would have been in the trunk, so he had to break it in half. So when they let her out of holding, he reimbursed her for the money and everything. He felt bad.
He bought her a new sign.
Yeah,
which was nice of him.
Mm-hmm.
Flashback again to, we see Jim Gordon again, but this time it's at the gravesite, and he's talking to little Bruce.
Yeah, he comes up to give him his condolences, let him know he can't stomach the idea of what this family is going through, and letting him know that the zoo is going to be taken care of, that you'll never have to stomach looking at it again and thinking about this terrible day. We'll figure out something to do there, something to, because your dad was such a good man, and we'll do something good in the property, and you won't have to look at it.
They're gonna raise the zoo and build something different so that it won't be a reminder of what happened there, is what he promises to Bruce.
Yeah, he says he's gonna put something practical there.
Right.
As Bruce was asking, well, what would you put there? Something practical.
Yeah.
But you won't have to look at it ever again.
Right. Back to Alfred, again, narrating the present day story of Bruce.
He's made it to his destination, which happens to be a rooftop where he's sitting alone with a helicopter pulling up and Alfred watching from a distance.
Right. And the black mask and his daughter, apparently, who also wears the black mask, which is very weird.
Very.
And
she's carrying a flamethrower, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, hey, my first flamethrower.
Yeah. Yeah. What was those old things?
Fisher Price. Fisher Price, my first flamethrower.
Yeah, my first flamethrower, my first nuclear project.
Right. So anyway, the black mask gets off. He starts talking with Bruce, and he says basically, you got my money. I gave you $200 million. Hopefully you did something good with it. And he says, oh yeah, I did something good with it.
What cars, planes, bat computers? What'd you spend it on?
Basically, there's a mention before in this story, so this kind of makes sense. Is there was a tradition at the zoo where there was a memorial light that was lighted once a year, and so
since the passing of his dad, they shined a light in the sky to honor his passing. But due to the crazy events happening throughout the story with the city under chaos with the party animals, they're foregoing that and just trying to work on saving the city right now.
Right. So what we find is that what Bruce did basically is he took the $200 million, which is, maybe like $1,000 with a wrap around each $1,000, whatever. He basically created his logo, his symbol, his chest symbol, and put it on the light so that when you turn on the light, you would basically have a full page, basically a bat symbol. So that's how the bat symbol.
Yeah, he asked Roman, you want to see what I did with the money?
Yeah.
Then he turns the symbol on himself.
Right. And that's when the Black Mask and his gang realize that the deal is off.
Deal is off.
Yeah. We see Bruce get pretty vicious. His cape,
talons on the end of his cape or whatever
they go straight through some people.
Yeah, he just starts whipping them and spinning them, and got a really cool shot. I love that panel right there. You really felt the motion in it, but he just starts doing some serious damage. None of these guys get to go straight home after this fight.
Exactly.
Not happening. We're gonna need some extra help. Right. But we get multiple pages of this just fighting and seeing the different capabilities of his cape, like seeing how strong he is taking on so many people. The big dude whose hand he cut off in issue 1 jumps on his back and he turns those spikes on and literally sticks the guy to his back. The guy's stuck there, spikes going through him while he's still fighting other people, begging them, get me off him, get me off him. Ultimately, just retracting the spikes and dropping the dude. Finally, it was brutal, man.
Right. Finally, they seem to subdue him. They drop a net on him, and that's when he seemingly is subdued. But as that happens, we see that the $200 million is lit on fire, and so you can see, as you see the bat symbol up in the sky, you can see that slowly, after multiple panels, that less and less of the bat symbol is actually there.
Yeah, from the heat of the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
At it. Yeah, and Black Mask breaks his arm. His goons come in. They kind of got him now. They done stabbed him a few times, took his own little pointy ear knives off and poked him. And then the little girl comes up with a flamethrower and even lights him on fire. It's wild. About that time, a goon comes and takes the hilt of his axe, takes the blade off of his chest, and they're getting ready to take him out here. And they do. They thwap him with the axe right in his head. It doesn't take his head off, but it sends him off the building.
Right. And he falls, and his cape kind of forms a parachute, but it's been so torn that it really isn't a parachute. Apparently, he hadn't yet invented the underwear that would help him.
No, he needs the underwear for sure.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, when he hits the ground, he hits a car so hard it folds it in half. This is a big Batman.
Right. Exactly.
But it doesn't stop there for him. Immediately, Roman's helicopter pulls up, Gatling guns blazing, blows him off the helicopter. He manages to crawl into a parking deck, only to have the police come flying in there after him, and it's none other than Barbara Gordon, who hits him with the police car.
Mm-hmm.
No rest for this guy.
Right. We then find that Alfred actually ends up picking him up, and he ends up. He basically tells Alfred that he needs him to put him together, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna sew you up."
Yeah,
Which
Alfred's
is
mad that he jumped the gun with his plan.
Right.
Him and Alfred had a way that Alfred wanted to do this, and Batman just wanted to take Roman on straight up, and it pissed Alfred off. In the meantime, Roman and his goons got their own plan. They're driving around the city, opening the back of moving trucks and unloading weapons onto the side of street corners everywhere, and encouraging the city to go out and have their own party.
Yeah, basically they're creating the purge.
And about this time, you have Jim Gordon and Martha walking out onto the streets to see all this happening, the crates of weapons, and some citizens opening them up, picking up weapons, putting on masks, and telling them, welcome to the party. And it looks like they're going to be stuck out in the middle of the purge.
Yeah. So basically, we're gonna end up with issue 6. Batman not only has to subdue the Black Mask and his gang, but it looks like he's going to have to somehow subdue almost the entire city of Gotham City to restore order. So
It's going to be interesting.
It is. It is.
This is where his Batmobile comes in handy. You just put the front down and you just drive through the city. just clears them right on up.
There you go. There you go. This was a great issue, much better than the last one. I thought.
Yeah, this was probably my favorite issue, like outside of number 1, just the shock and excitement of number 1. This definitely is right there with it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We see that it's good because we see that Batman is not indestructible. He is definitely, he can be beat. But he also doesn't give up. So we see that part of him as well. And we see that he also has kind of a fuck you attitude, where he burns like the $200 million. It's like, yeah, I got your money right here.
My ears are burning.
Scott Snyder said that actually this was probably his favorite issue of the first 6 that he wrote.
I can see why.
Yeah, issue 5.
The pacing was all there, but you get a lot. It feels like you get more, like you get a better idea of these characters and their personalities and stuff like that in this issue. That's more fast paced with even less dialogue than we have in the previous 3, despite that kind of being the point of those almost.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is setting up for an awesome issue number 6. And then if I recall correctly, we're going to get Mr. Freeze after this, I believe, in issues 7 and 8, I think. And then the Joker's going to come along like around 10 or 11, issue 10 or 11, I think. So
it's going to be good.
It is going to be good. Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to be it. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave us a comment. Let us know how you think we're doing. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comic Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark.
We are Legion.
And you're now leaving Sector 2815 if you can find your way out of here, because I can't.